Hey guys, welcome to episode 45. This is a peer-to-peer network coding session series. Today we are going to resume our our work here at the peer-to-peer network. Sorry. So specifically, what we were doing was to implement how to create a user profile um, via a social app, what we call a social app. So a social um, for that, let's jump into the code. We were here, social. These are the different projects, social trading, okay, SA, utilities, no, globals, profile types. Okay, so we already built this message, this request. This is our kind of requests. So profile, create user profile is we got it, and we got this too. So today I'm going to work on get user profile info, but most specifically in create social entity. Then I will going to work on this. So create social entity. So let's check where we have this. Okay, the search mechanism of Visual Studio Code sometimes needs to index everything and takes too much time. So I'm going to look for the files directly. And so we have here in modules, social graph network service client. Okay, this profile type, probably going to put it here. So when we receive this, can be a query, an event, or a profile. So if we are going to create user profile, create social entity, I'm going to add one here that is missing, that is what I was saying before, get user profile info. Okay, so this is going to be get user profile info. Um, so there is a library that has this create user profile that is on social trading function library user profile. So here, user profile, create user profile. We are going to add here get user profile info, and that's what we're going to do. Before creating the user profile, we're going to get the user profile info. So async function profile message, and that's it. So I'm not going to implement this right away because I was thinking about implementing this one, create social entity. So this is here, social entity profile here, and we have create social entity, and this is where we are going to write our function. So essentially What I need to do is the following. Let's go to the user interface and let's focus on this and let's load a workspace called peer-to-peer network demo, this one. So I'm going to enumerate everything we need to do in order to add a social persona. Okay, there are several things we need to do. So we are going to analyze the problem, and then once we have analyzed, we're going to implement it. So social personas are here. So let's say we have a user. The user might or might not have already this and might or might not have already a social persona. So we will need to first fetch the user profile of whoever is using the application. And for doing that, we need to load from a file that we created. That we are going to look for that file. Okay, that file should be where my secrets. No, not here. Network node data, my social trading data. Okay, so here we recorded the user profile and name of the user profile that is currently using this social trading app. Okay, so from here we are going to get the user ID and the name, which is essentially the name of the file of the user profile. So then we're going to load this user profile only. Okay, and then once we have the user profile, so I'm going to start writing this stuff. So point number one, we are talking about a social entity. Okay, sorry. Here, create social entity. So to create social entity, we need to, number one, get the user profile ID from the file that is called app data. Profile ID and name from the file, from this file. Okay. We already have a map of user profiles in memory. Okay. But we cannot use that map now because we need to save that profile, and so far we are not saving. We don't have the way to discontract all the relationship between these nodes in order to save them. And to be honest, I prefer to read the latest version of the user profile directly from the GitHub repository, and from there uh, do the modification. So we're going to read the user profile plugin file from GitHub repo. Number 3. Once we have it, then we need to check if it has, well, we need to add the nodes, social personas and social persona. Social persona only if it doesn't exist, okay? Then we will add the storage container for this social persona, okay? And that means adding this user storage, GitHub, and storage container, which means adding storage container and adding the reference from social persona, okay, to the storage container, obviously. That is this thing here. Okay. Then we need to sign the social persona node, or probably before that we need to sign it. This could be number 4. Number 5, add the storage container. And finally, save the user profile, the updated user profile at GitHub. Okay, so this is all we need to do. So the process is kind of similar to the process that we already did here for creating a user profile, because the process involves check or create fork, in this case check. We don't need this one, but check create the user profile. We just check it. That means getting the user profile. Then we add the signing accounts, then push profile and pull request. This means saving the user profile at our fork and creating a pull request for that, and then save the user profile now. But since everything is quite similar, I'm going to copy the content of this. Okay. I'm going to copy the content of this into our function here. And add open storage will be one of the inner functions there. So we start with this. Okay. So it's a long road, but once we have it, we will have almost all of the problem of sign up figured it out. So let's check this out. Okay, first problem. We're going to create um, the storage containers at GitHub. Assuming we have the storage provider name at the file that we are saving the profile, okay? So probably we need to save this at the other file. Let's do that so that everything starts fitting into place. When we create a user profile, we are going to save storage provider name. Storage provider username. We're going to save this too. What happened with the storage provider token? I would need a token to make modifications. So in my secrets, we have an API secrets. Let me create a token for this session. Mm, okay, so I will put that token. Sorry, give me 1 second. So the problem is this. I need to store the token. I need to store the token of the token that the user gives me for accessing and updating its profile at the storage container of the profile. Okay. So far we have storage containers for social entities, but not for profiles themselves. So unless I create or I reference no, I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is to save the file with the token. Story provided token that I receive. We're going to store the token here. I don't remember for what is this. Okay. So I'm going to record all this, but instead of saving this at this place, I'm going to save it at my secrets. Okay. So let me add this file, environment. Okay. So this is where we want this to be, because there's going to be a secret inside that is the token. Okay. So what we are going to call here is the name that we receive here. User app type. Okay, something like this, but I wouldn't like this to be with dashes. I would like to be with dashes. So I don't want this to be social trading desktop app. So I want to, I think there was a way to replace all the spaces for dashes. Probably we used this before. Open file, super algos, platform client, HTTP interface. So I'm going to put all these files down here. Because these are not directly related to this. Place all. So the problem is that there is no replace all in Node.js, and I don't want to replace all, but whatever. I'm not going to enter into this level of detail, so I'm going to do a replace space with dash. Okay. More or less like this. So then I will probably request, I will most likely request the user app type to come in the message to add something like a social persona. Okay. So why am I doing this? Because I will need when from the app I receive a request to add a social persona, I will need to go to the storage provider that we store here with this username and with this token, retrieve the user profile, and then save it using this stuff. So I need to have this stuff recorded somewhere. Okay. So I will know the name, but the code name, and this is going to be user profile config dot code name. Okay, so I'm going to debug this and put this to work first. So here is my access token that I'm going to use, and I will need to load I'm not running this at the right place because this is not a task server. So this I need to run it at the desktop. So to do this right, let me find this desktop. Remove all this stuff. Desktop app. Network service client. Okay, I need to run this here. And then I will need this guy and this guy. Okay, so this guy I will put a breakpoint, but not there, but here. And I also going to load the environment file. My understanding is that my Social trading data, we don't need it anymore. So I'm going to remove this guy. From the desktop app, we had this message that was for testing. We're going to put our new code, and we will need the network running. So network, you can run. Not so fast. What is this social entities profile? Okay. Okay. So now we have the network. We have the desktop message. The profile already exists. I mean, this profile already exists. And my secrets on this thing, my social trading data, we can probably delete it. Probably we also have a git ignore. My social trading data. This is not data that we record anymore locally. So my social trading data doesn't exist here anymore. Okay, so let's go back to my secrets, where we will have a new file here, which in fact, instead of creating dashes with this replace, we're going to remove the spaces. Just remove the spaces so that it has the same format that the others. Okay. Okay, so here we go. We will run this and we expect our profile to exist, to be up to date. Um, does this save the profile? Okay, so the whole process is going to happen. Okay, let's run it. Okay, there is a problem. Okay, I'm not sure what is going on. Okay, so I don't know what happened. I'm going to run this again and check the parameters. That's what we do when we have this problem. So I'm going to do it again. Just run. So we got the token. The path is user profiles, my profile. Okay. The file content is the file of the profile. So here we execute this and get a SHA that is probably a hash of the content. So there is a hash. Um, Well, the next logical thing to do is to look for the error code. Oh, now it says okay. Oh, what is that? No error. This makes me wonder if using GitHub is a good idea at all. When you lose control of what's going on, then you spend your days trying to figure out what these people try to do. We are supposed to be using a hash. First of all, they shouldn't ask you a hash. What if you want to update your file? Is their problem? How they solve it internally? But you request the hash, they give you the hash. You use the hash to update, and then they say no, not possible. Why? Nobody knows. And it's going to be very difficult to get out of this situation because how can you know? How can you fix it? This is difficult. And we haven't even started what we were going to do today, so it's quite annoying. Okay, I see one possible thing here, and that I don't specify in the branch here. This might be the reason. Okay. Um, and if it is, then this problem might be somewhere else too. So maybe this is reading the SHA of the main branch or the master branch, and this is trying to write to the develop branch. Okay, let's see if this is a problem. Sorry, we have to start from here. I think it's the same SHA, so I'm not sure it's going to work. Oh, same problem. Now I really don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do. Now I really don't know what to do. So, I don't remember if this was working or was untested. I mean, we can save posts. And what's the difference? We have been saving posts all the time. Okay, but there were new files. Yeah, I get that. So our main problem here is that the file already exists, and to replace it, Um, that's the problem. So the only thing I can do is read to see if there is something somewhere. Maybe it's an authentication problem also. There might be the situation where the token, that can be another stuff. Let me generate a new token. Full power token. So I'm going to use this token now. Because it happened to me before that GitHub is not telling you that there is an authentication problem, and some other exceptions comes out and you have to die trying to find the reason. Okay, that wouldn't work. What is this? There is something strange here. It says master. Why it says master? I don't see the branch anywhere here. And maybe it's using the default branch. So essentially this guy is telling me that the file doesn't match that hash. But I cannot know why. Let's see if we can find examples of this function. Okay, there's no branch here. There's no branch here either. Create or update file content. Okay, branch is a parameter. This is getting a little bit boring. I know we are doing this same stuff uh, at Super Algos and kind of successfully. So let's load the file where we are doing this. So what's the difference between this and this? You have the owner repo path, or to get the owner repo branch file. Owner repo branch. Hold on. How to get the owner repo path message content branch shell. Owner repo path message content shell branches. This is a waste of time. Very, very big waste of time. Well, I'm really stuck on this one. I really cannot know what is going on. It's very, very annoying. Very little explanation or workaround. Very little example code. I guess the mechanism of making you acquire SHA is to prevent concurrency problems where you're updating something and somebody else is updating the same thing at the same time. Then this mechanism prevents you from that situation, because if you get a SHA and you update that and you send a SHA, then if you receive an OK, then guarantees you that what you modify is what you were expecting to modify, and you're not deleting somebody else's modification. In fact, if you're going to update the profile, the SHA, you should get it when you got the profile, not 1 second before you're going to save, because that doesn't make sense. In this case, it's in your own profile, but if it were another plugin, but how is it possible that you're giving me one SHA and then when I try to update and I'm sending you that SHA, it fails. What if I do this in master? Does it fail too? Another way to solve these problems is to find a way for it to work, and then you move from when it works towards when it doesn't work. So let's run this in master and see what happens. Also, if we have the same SHA or not. It looks like we have the same SHA. which I don't think is the case because I already modified my profile is not the same, but let's see what happens if we fire this stuff. Now in master I can do it. So there is something wrong. There is something wrong with or either with my develop branch. There is something wrong there. Because with master I can do it. Then I would save this. Oh my god, no. Okay, my bad. In master it works. So it's going to be interesting to discover why it works in master and not in the other branch. So I don't think this worked. At least I don't see the file saved at the place that I was expecting to. Okay, so this is not see super out of my secrets. Okay, this is the information we are going to store. Okay, so we achieved very little here, only changing the file and these ideas. We got this GitHub saving working only at the master branch, and I have no idea why at the other branch it doesn't work. I'm not going to push for this now. I'm going to leave it as an unresolved issue. Having to work with third-party software is really very annoying sometimes, especially when it's not well documented or not clear what you should put in any of these places. So I got governance plugins. This branch is 5 commits ahead of SuperAlgo's master. If we see develop here, okay, probably this is the reason. This branch is 1 commit ahead of SuperAlgo's develop. Maybe this is the reason why there must be a reason. It needs to be something related to the state of the of the branch. I'm getting the hash from here, regardless if where I'm taking the profile from. I believe that this guy is getting the profile from master also. Let me check that. Check create user profile. So when we are getting the profile, we're getting it in this way: repo name and branch name. So we're getting the profile from the develop branch of this repository. I mean, from the organization repository. Okay. So we're getting the profile from there, and we are putting it into our fork. That to put it in the develop branch makes sense to me. Um, so let's say Masters has 9 commits. Okay, and I can create stuff in master. And user profiles. Plugin update. Made all this update. Okay. So what happens at the develop branch? We see the history. Okay. So none of the plugin update were taking effect here. So what happens if I create a pull request? From develop into governance plugin. Okay. View pull request. Merge pull request. Now let's go back here. This branch is not ahead of the upstream, so it's exactly at the same place. Let's see if the branch now can get my update. If I come here and I request this from develop, and I update develop, what would happen if I do that? So I got a SHA. Now it's different. Now it's different than before. But anyways, it doesn't allow me to do this in develop. And I have no idea why. So I can do it in master as many times as I want. But I cannot do it at develop. Hold on, what am I doing? Yes, develop. So it's really very, very strange. What is the problem in develop that master doesn't have? What is it? The difference between develop and master in this case is that develop I made changes in develop from push from my local yesterday. So in develop, if you see the history of commits, tested changes on my user profile. While if we go to this same stuff at master, it doesn't have those. It has the first commits up to here, but it doesn't have this guy. So this is the only difference between the two branches. And in this branch, I can update my profile as many times as I want, but I cannot do it at the other branch, which is really very strange. So this repository is a submodule at the superalgo repository, but as a repository itself, it should not even know that it's a submodule somewhere else. So it's an independent repository for that purpose. So what makes it possible to save okay, I will leave it here. Because this took too long and we make very little advance. At least this is working somewhere. But yeah, for now I will leave it here. And at the next episode I will continue working on the list of stuff that we defined it before. Now that we already have this file with the information that we need. Okay? So that is what we're going to do. And we will leave this problem for afterwards, for the moment that all the rest is done. Okay? So then we will figure that out. Okay? So that's all for now. Thank you for watching. See you next